And this afternoon, we are joined live by Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan. Margaret, thank you so much for being here. What are experts telling you about this latest surge? Is this the final wave, or should we brace for another variant?
We all hope it is the final wave, but we do know there will be more mutations. The question is whether they'll be as transmissible as Omicron is. That is the problem with what we are going through right now. It is really causing so many Americans to stay home from work, from school, just in these past few days. It was not how we wanted to start the new year. Dr. Gottlieb has predicted, though, that by February, you may be able to return to in-person work more fully. He's saying basically that we are looking at a peak in the next few weeks. Doctors at Columbia University, some others, Dr. Fauci as well, has said it looks like this will cycle through the population fairly quickly, but it could be a really painful next few weeks. We will also look on Sunday's show at what the impact will be on the functioning of America and the economy. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi will be with us. We'll ask her whether the $6 trillion that Americans have pumped into the economy over the past 2 years, whether that's enough or whether there will be a need for more emergency measures.
And Margaret, speaking of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi going to be on this Sunday, what is on the agenda for the House as members are going to be heading back from recess soon?
This is a hugely important year. There was a very narrow window of opportunity to get things done because, as you know, the midterm races, those congressional races could determine the control of the House and Senate in November. And we could see that control shifts back to the Republicans, which would mean it gets even harder for President Biden to get anything on his agenda done. And we already saw how difficult the past year was when Democrats weren't able to agree on things like the Build Back Better bill. So Speaker Pelosi will have to help the president quarterback here and get things through Congress. Voting rights are at the top of the president's agenda. We'll be hearing more about that. But reviving some portion of that $2 trillion spending package, whether it's the climate change provisions or the child care tax credit, that's what we want to talk to Speaker Pelosi about to get a clear read on what is possible in these next few months.
Well, you mentioned voting rights and the midterms. The integrity of elections and voting rights across the nation are two key issues heading into those midterms. President Biden is headed to Georgia next week to give a speech on voting rights. What should people know going into this election year?
Elections and democracy only work when people have the confidence that their votes will be counted and counted fairly. So this is really foundational to the functioning of our country, having faith in the process. What you are hearing, and we'll hear more about in the next few days from President Biden and Vice President Harris, is their argument for federal action. They're looking around the country, seeing a patchwork of different state laws being changed, 19 different states, 34 different laws that have been changed just since the 2020 races. And in many of these states, it has gotten harder, or there have been changes to how elections can be administered. At the federal level, the Biden administration is arguing there needs to be some kind of level setting here. This is a big argument. We'll be talking a lot about it with elections expert David Becker to sort of set clear guidelines for the public on what they should be watching for and where some of the problems actually do exist with these laws or challenges. And we will be speaking to Brad Raffensperger. He is the Secretary of State in the state of Georgia, which has really been ground zero for a lot of pressure on election officials, including Mr. Raffensperger himself, as he experienced in the 2020 races when he bucked the demands from the former president to change the outcome of the race in his state.
All right, a lot to break down on Sunday, it sounds like. Margaret, thanks so much for spending part of your Friday afternoon with us. As always, you can watch Face the Nation this Sunday morning right here, of course, on Channel 6.